confusing. Terms like dealer price, list price, invoice, TrueCar shows you what other people pay for the car you want. You could save $3,000 off MSRP. So, I think it's interesting about this, and this is one of these topics I'm always kind of fascinated by. One of the Patriot players, Marquise Flowers, came out yesterday on Twitter and said, you people have all the answers, more than Coach Belichick. Arguably the best coach in NFL history, not on my watch, and he was supporting his coach. And Jason Whitlock has been really on this story for the last couple of weeks. He thinks the Malcolm Butler situation is going to blow up this locker room. I disagree with him, but here's Jason Whitlock on Speak for Yourself. He thinks this is, to a lot of players, this is why Brady came out to support Malcolm Butler. Players are mad at Belichick.
Because of this Malcolm Butler situation, you're going to see more and more players comfortable expressing how they really feel about the Patriots and the Bill Belichick way. This decision here with Malcolm Butler appears to be just ego run amok. Players now feel comfortable saying, man, Belichick's out of control.
The star in New England's locker room is Brady,
who doesn't like this decision.
But he's not going to let this thing seep all through the locker room.
He has always stood on the decisions I make are about winning. Now when he stands on that, the 53 guys in that locker room go, no, you don't. Not all the time.
Okay, here's my theory. The NBA is Broadway. It's star-driven. I'm not going unless I like the cast. It's a smaller ensemble. It's reliant on that night's performance. That's the NBA, $300 tickets. The NFL is the movies. It's about the franchise. I've seen 1 million people play Batman, 12 people be Spider-Man and Superman. I don't go because of the actor. I go because of the franchise these days. The reality is the NFL has never been about the player. It's been about the GM and the coach. It is not a player-driven league. It's a shield GM coach-driven league. The players don't have the ability to drive the revenue, drive the numbers. Almost no player changes. The Cowboys as a whole, regardless of quarterback, move a number. Same with the Steelers, with or without Big Ben. Same with the Packers. The NBA is Broadway. It's a small ensemble of talent, leans on 1 or 2 top stars, $300 tickets based on that night's performance. Okay, that's Broadway. Star-driven. NBA, Broadway, star-driven. Players have impact. Players get coaches fired. NFL's the opposite. Players get cut by coaches. My way or the highway. I like both. I like Broadway in the NBA, star-driven. I like the NFL, which is business operations #1, more about the franchise than the guy. Why does the NFL have to do business like the NBA? I mean, the NBA, Magic, I want that coach out, fired. LeBron, I want David Blatt out, fired. Michael Jordan, I want Doug Collins out, fired. Kareem, Wilt, players run the NBA. By the way, the players got rid of an owner, Donald Sterling. I like that business. That's awesome. I like Broadway. But I also like movies where actors are overwhelmingly replaceable. I mean, you will get like Matt Damon in the Bourne series, and the guy that replaces him, Renner, he's good too, but he's not Matt Damon. Again, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, there are a handful of guys that do matter. Don't get me wrong, they're important. But it's about Belichick and Pete Carroll and the GM and your non-crazy owner, and it's a handful of players. Do you realize outside a quarterback, there's virtually no player in the NFL worth a point in Vegas? Now think about that. Gronk is not worth a point. They won a Super Bowl without him. That's Hollywood. Very rarely do you get a guy like Jamie Foxx, which he can literally do a role that nobody else could do. Jim Carrey or Robin Williams, the late Robin Williams, in comedy can do a role nobody else can do. 90% of actors, I'm going for the franchise. I'm not going for the actor. Broadway, Nathan Lane's off, Matthew Broderick off, I don't want to go to it. But why does the NBA and why do fans insist that the NFL's got to run the business like the NBA runs it? I don't understand that. It's not about the player in the NFL. Players get cut. Malcolm Butler, bad week of practice, showed up late, broke a team rule, out. All right. NBA is not going to work that way. But in the NFL, it does, and I'm very comfortable with both. Carissa with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News. Last hour, Colin, we were talking about Steve Kerr's decision to hand over the clipboard and let his players coach in that big win over the Suns.
I liked it.
You like that move?
Yeah.
I like that move, too.
Yeah, I don't want it for a series. I can handle it for a night.
Right. He went on record and said, they're sick of hearing me. I'm sick of hearing me. So he handed over the reins. He also had an interesting take on how he views his team. Take a listen.
I told him the other night after the last game that we were going to do it. It's their team. They have to take ownership of it, and as coaches, our job is to nudge them in the right direction, guide them, but we don't control them. They determine their own fate, and I don't feel like we focused well at all the last month, and it just seemed like the right thing to do, and I thought they communicated really well together, and they drew up some nice plays, and it was a good night for the guys.
That is exactly what you were just talking about. He said it's the players' team. They make the decision.
Of course.
It's exactly to your point about the
way, think about
difference
this.
with the NFL.
When Kevin Durant goes to the Warriors, the fan and the media reaction was what? This is brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if Gronk went to the Steelers, we'd be like, awesome.
Yeah.
So we're telling you, basically, the players are so important in Broadway and the NBA.
But can you imagine Belichick handing over the Clippers like, all right, I mean, to Brady, I guess you could, but it's still, yeah, I know, you're rolling your eyes, but it's still the control. I mean, you're not going to see this in another sport.
No, but I like what Kerr did. I thought it shows a great deal of self-confidence to know that the biggest criticism of you is anybody could coach the team, and you gave the team up for a night. So Kerr's pretty confident in who he is.
Not to mention the fact that so many players are like, he's a player's coach. Having been a player himself, he understands the dynamic of that. Okay, you know who's very vocal right now? Charles Haley. Hall of Fame defensive end, won 3 Super Bowls.
Great player.
With the Cowboys in the 90s. He's not a huge fan right now of the current Cowboys team. Take a listen.
I blame everybody. It's one team, right? And everybody's together. And, and that's the key, man. I just, I go over there and, I tell guys, I said, man, Jerry built this house for a bunch of damn losers. And they get mad. You know what? They have to do something about it. I can't do anything about it. I can't play. I said, all I can do is give you some knowledge. And then, you know what? That ego's so big, and they so busy getting on Twitter and Facebook and everything else. Hey, maybe they should get in that playbook. Maybe they should learn how to rush, catch, and block. That I told them when I go over there, I tell those guys, nobody's scared of them. I said, ain't nobody in the league scared of y'all. I said, what y'all been doing is listening to people say, y'all got the best offensive line in the business. I said, who's scared of y'all?
Well, he's right about that. They're not a fear-inducing team, no. Like the Legion of Boom in Seattle.
A bunch of damn losers.
It was harsh. Well, I think what he's saying also, Carissa, is this is the reality of 2018. A lot of young people are in their social media accounts.
Oh,
that's the reality.
Majority are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even let's go back to the Joel Embiid comment, right?
Yes.
Or the Isaiah Thomas shot at Kevin Durant with the burner account. And, I understand it, but there's a little bit of this like, get off my lawn, kid, kind of a thing.
Yes.
Old school. But that was a completely different time. You do have to adjust accordingly.
Of
that
course.
there is now in the business of football or any profession or any personality, there's a brand. So that also is a much different thing than the time that Charles Haley, that team of the 90s.
Yeah, he does sound like old guy in the hardware store. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does a little bit there.
Last but not least, Peyton Manning to drive the pace car at the Daytona 500. The Daytona 500 on Fox this weekend.
Oh.
He will join Dale Earnhardt Jr. And we'll see Peyton Manning. Look at him.
We got Fox got the Thursday night football games.
Peyton. Yes, we did.
Wouldn't it be great if Peyton Manning was on those?
Who do we know? You've got some pull around here. Take
don't
that
have any
elevator up
pull.
to the 5th floor and make some calls.
Wouldn't it be great if Peyton Manning was on?
Love that.
I would be willing in most years to give up salary, not this one specifically. But
I don't think Peyton needs any more money, but I would like to see that as well.
Oh my God!
And what's next for him?
By the way, there's a guy who would be a home run broadcaster. Like Tony Romo surprised me to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
Like Joe Montana was not as good as I thought. Like if there's ever been a guy you'd be like, oh, he'll be great. Peyton Manning would be an unbelievable broadcaster. Smart, funny, timing, knowledge. For him, it's like, boy, Peyton would be good. He'd be good on Fox. He almost feels like a Fox broadcaster.
Get your friend Cooper Manning on line 1 and have him pull some strings.
Carissa with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Live
Never thought
News.
about Cooper. Really use that guy right now. All right, Kenyon Martin, Kmart, a #1 pick, multiple NBA, Nugget, Clippers, Knicks, and I guess we bring on regularly. Kmart will lay it out. No BS with Kmart.
What up, sir?
Would you, you know, that name is pretty obvious, right? Were you ever, like, did Kmart, were you okay with that nickname?
Yeah, I've had it for a long time.
I know, forever.
Yeah, I've
been calling you Kmart for 15 years.
Yeah, I've been Kenyon Martin for a long time.
All right. So what do you, first of all, what do you make of Steve Kerr allowing the players to coach? How does that land for you?
It's cool. I like it. He understands the pulse of his team. He's been on successful teams, playing and as an assistant with Pop.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it. Different voice. Give your team something to look forward to.
Right.
It's fun, and you're playing the Suns.
we can't just slide past that.
Not at all. Like you got to look at the opponent.
Yeah, the Lakers have dominated the Suns this year.
Yeah,
so to your point.
Okay,
let me ask you about this. So I said this earlier about Isaiah Thomas. Listen, I like him. I'm rooting for him. He's 5'8", last guy drafted. Okay, I am in on the. I want him to succeed. Yeah. But, like, now he sounds needy. He's like, you know, when I was with the Lakers the other night, they were cheering me. And Boston cheered me, and Cleveland didn't cheer me. And I'm like, bro, you sound a little needy, right?
Yeah, because in Cleveland, regular season wins not really that important to them. Yeah. So if you want them to cheer for you, then you didn't stick around for the time that they get excited for.
That's right.
Which is June. That's right. You know, late May, June. No, that's when they.
January's not really.
That's not on their radar.
That's right.
You know, so if you was in Boston, they wasn't really. They was trying to get on the map, and you helped. So they cheered you, and you averaged 29. So
in Boston, January was a big month.
It was huge.
Yeah.
Not for Cleveland. That's not what they're excited for.
Right.
You know, you play 15 games, so you're in a place now where regular season wins are important, and you. Came out, you played well game one. So, yeah, they cheered you on.
So, it's an interesting thing. Like, I'm never going to criticize LeVar Ball as a dad because he got 3 kids to UCLA and it's a hell of a school. You live here. Yeah. So, like, when that happened, I was always like, good pops. Yeah. I mean, you're a little loud for me. You don't parent the way I'd parent, but I'm not going to judge you because I didn't get 3 kids to UCLA.
They're your kids.
Okay, they're your kids, and I'm no expert on parenting. Yeah. Okay, and I've kind of tolerated him, and I think he's gotten a little loud, and I do think he uses, maybe smartly, he uses the media as a weapon.
Definitely.
Like he's using us against each other. But he is a story. He's a car chase. You got to cover it, okay?
Definitely.
But I think this is serious. So most of the time he says stuff, and I'm like, I roll my eyes at it. All right, Kenyon? But he comes out now and says, he goes, Lonzo will be in his 3rd year, and I want to let every NBA team know he's not going to re-sign with the Lakers unless you get all 3 of my boys on the team. And I read that, and I think to myself, okay, it's All-Star Weekend. Magic's got all the stars in town, right?
Yeah.
And he's got this crap to deal with. LeVar, to me, like this, Magic Johnson wakes up this morning and at least thinks about, hell, I may have to trade Lonzo. Do you think I'm crazy there? Am I overreacting?
I don't think it's panic time yet. Like you said, I think LeVar has pushed management into a corner.
That's what I think.
But I just don't think it plays. If LeBron James decides, when I'm done in Cleveland, I'm going to join the Lakers.
Okay.
That conversation will be had long before anything is inked. You know, if he's still here.
But my argument is LeBron's not going to muddy his brand up with this garbage because you can't control LeVar.
Yeah, so my thing is, like, I was telling him back, like, LeBron doesn't need Los Angeles.
Good point.
Like, his brand is his brand already.
That's right.
He's not coming here like Shaq came here to build his brand.
No, quite good.
LeBron James' brand is already in place. So he can stay in Cleveland and be fine. L.A. needs him. So whatever he's asking for, if it was to...
He's going to get it.
He's going to get it. No matter what it is, no matter what or who.
Now, you know, Kenyon, LeBron likes to be the voice of his team.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yes.
You can't be, I would argue, with LeVar.
Yeah, when you got somebody over here chirping always and you never know what's going to come out.
So my argument is if LeBron came here, he would have an ultimatum. Like, I can't shut that guy up.
Yeah, so you deal with it.
You either deal with it or ask him.
Or I won't be there. So I think if that was to be the case, then that's what it would be. But
Do you think anybody – listen, you can say that nobody would want LeVar Ball, but there's a lot of Memphises out there, and they're not going to win, and they're boring, and nobody cares. I could make the argument they would deal with LeVar because it would make them – they'd get on TV every night and talk about it.
Some teams would, but not successful teams.
Right.
Not teams that's striving to be great, teams that's striving for NBA championships. We would think that every NBA franchise would want that.
You know better.
Yeah. I'm saying, but that's not the case.
Were you ever on a team that you knew it wasn't about winning the championship? It was about making the owner richer.
No.
You were on. You thought your teams cared.
Yeah, the teams that I was on, my Jersey teams, my rookie year wasn't that good, but then we made a trade for J. Kidd. So you cared about winning. Yeah, Denver, we had guys that cared about winning. When I went to the Knicks, we had guys that cared about winning. You know, guys that's at the end hadn't won a chance.
Right.
I'm saying so. We cared. I haven't been on a team that I thought that's what it was only about. You know what I'm saying?
Kenyon Martin joining us, #1 pick. Okay, let's talk the Cavs trade. Mm-hmm. Now, it's easy to say, well, they don't have KD, and they don't have Steph Curry and Clay, and they won't beat the Warriors. But I'm looking at all these guys. Yeah. Like, I like George Hill, and I like Rodney Hood.
Yes.
And I like off the bench Larry Nance. I like Clarkson off the bench. Like, when that trade was done, I was gone that day. When that trade was done, I'm sitting around, and I'm like, they got more good offensive players.
Yes.
And if Kyrie's not hot, Boston struggles offensively.
I agree.
Like, I thought that was a home run.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it for Cleveland. You shook things up, what you needed to do. Let guys know that, I'm saying, it's not a guarantee around here that you're going to be here just because LeBron is here. So I get it. You got off some guys that was in question.
Older, beat up,
all of that. You know what I'm saying? So you got some young, energetic guys who career hasn't been what they maybe thought winning wise.
So they come in. They come in.
Cleveland. LeBron has been to 8 straight finals, or 7 straight, going for 8. Why wouldn't you come in here like, hey, I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do. I'm gonna do my job, like George just said. Like, I'm here to do my job. LeBron is Batman, and we're Robin, which we get.
Dwayne Wade is Robin now, but doesn't want to be. Derrick Rose never wanted to be Robin, and Isaiah Thomas didn't think he was Robin.
And there lies the problem, and that's why those guys are not there anymore. And LeBron James still is, and they bring in fresh blood. Midway, they needed to shake things up, and they did, and I like what they did. They got a little younger, like I said, they got better offensively, which you need to be in order to compete with Golden State and Houston.
I think Cleveland's absolutely better than Boston today.
I do too.
Absolutely.
I do. Because, just look at the way they was constructed. You got Channing Frye, who's a specialist. Shoot threes. You know what I'm saying? You got off of that. You add Larry Nance, and does more. I'm saying you got Clarkson, more aggressive. Dwayne is older. He's probably not as aggressive as he once was, not as explosive. And you add some younger talent, some younger guys that's going to go out and be excited about playing with LeBron James.
Yeah, and the other thing, LeBron looked engaged.
Yeah. Like
January, he just looked
you got young guys around you that like to have fun, and they're going to bring it out of him. And I right as of today, like, the Cavs have to be the favorite in the East.
Yep. Kenyon Martin, good seeing you, bud.
Yes, sir,
Every business needs great people, and there's a better way to find them. It's called ZipRecruiter. Ideas are important, but they don't matter if you don't have the people in the building, in the office, to help you wrap it up and bring it together. ZipRecruiter has smart matching technology, and that's what makes them different. They have revolutionized the way you hire. In fact, 80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter will find a quality candidate through their site in a day, just one day. And they don't stop there. They even spotlight the strongest applications you receive, so you never miss the greatest potential match. The right candidates are out there. They always are. ZipRecruiter just connects you. Businesses large and small using it, and right now my listeners can try ZipRecruiter at no cost. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/herd. The smartest way to hire is ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter.com/HERD.
Everyone has a thing.